Hey everybody, it's Monday. It's Always Bookin Comedy. We've got a very special guest from the great state of Louisiana, JP Leonard, with us. How you doing, JP?
I'm doing good. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Great weekend. Very busy. I'm hosting a Dumb and Dumber screening tomorrow night. Like the
Oh,
highlight of my
nice.
comedy career, I think.
That's pretty cool. I
It's
mean,
pretty cool.
it's just like a reshowing type of deal, or
Yeah, it's part of this. It's the 150th anniversary of Colorado this year, and they're
oh,
doing this
okay,
special Colorado 150 film series all over the state. One of the mountain towns I run a comedy show in has a little one screen movie theater,
yeah,
and I run shows there, and they're screening Dumb and Dumber because parts of it were filmed in Breckenridge, Colorado, which is the town.
yeah. Okay, because
So
didn't they go to Aspen, right? For the
yeah, they go
yeah,
to Aspen in air quotes, but
gotcha.
it was too expensive to film in Aspen. So
Yeah,
they
a sound stage they went to or somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, well they Breckenridge is one of the
Oh,
places
okay, okay,
when they come in
yeah,
on the moped, that's in downtown Breckenridge, and there are a couple other scenes that are around. Copper Mountain
nice.
is one of them. And yeah, hey, I think the algorithm knew that we were going to talk today because I just got like a notification on my phone about the Lafayette Comedy Festival. Is
Oh,
that you?
beautiful. Yes, that is
Let's
me.
talk about it,
Yes.
buddy. It's exciting. You got one of the headliners we just had at Vail Comedy Festival,
Who's that?
Tom.
Oh, oh, Todd. Wait, Todd.
Tom Takar.
Oh no, that was last year's
Oh, that's
festival
last year.
actually.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, well,
Okay.
it may
Well,
have
we
been,
were
yeah.
copying you then. Let me see what's going
Yeah,
on
so,
now.
yeah, no, we did have Tom. I love Tom. I had Tom so long ago. Well, probably like 4 years ago, and I've always
Okay.
loved him. Did a show with him in New Orleans, and had him here. But yeah, that was cool. We had
Oh yeah,
Tom.
2025. Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong
Yeah,
thing. How do I get to the
we had,
right?
just go
Is there
to
a website for this thing?
yeah, just go to LafayetteComedy.com, and you'll see like the second row be the first thing pinned there.
I got it. Okay. Let's see. Todd Barry, huge. I
Yep.
think I saw a picture of Sam J.
Sam J, Kim Congdon. Yeah,
Wow.
last year was the first one we did, and I had like two of my main headliners cancel. Literally,
Oh,
one was 6 days before, the other one was 5 days before, and
it's
did a
brutal.
did a scramble, and it actually worked out for the best multiple ways financially too. But
Okay.
we were the first people to give. I don't know if you've heard of Timmy No Breaks. He's the Kill
Hmm.
Tony universe. He's huge.
Yeah, sure.
Um, we had it was a week. It was not even. It was probably like 5 days, 4 or 5 days after his first his second appearance, where he kind of blew up, and like his video alone that he had cut up had like a million views in like 24 hours. He became a star, and we gave him his
Cool.
first headlining spot, his first festival spot. And
Wow.
nicest dude. I had met him like 2 weeks. Well, I met him yeah, probably 2 weeks before in Austin by chance.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even doing Timmy No Breaks. He was doing another character. So we just hit it off, and it was perfect. So we had him. We had Tom Takar. We had Karen Feehan. We had Shane Torres, and there's someone else I'm forgetting. But yeah,
Hey,
it was crazy. So
so do you have like submission comedians, or is it just like a string of shows that are all,
so I did
or
not
is it
do submissions.
curated
So
kind of
it's
thing?
curated. So
Okay.
yeah. So this second year, I didn't want to do it. I mean, there's a thing in the universe, the comedy sphere, and I've donated to. I've donated to many comedy charities where you pay your submission fee, and
Me too. Me too.
yeah. So I decided not to do that. And like,
Okay.
yes, it would be a great bankroll because you get everything in there. And I just was like, no. And so just invite only. We're doing the same thing this year. It's a risk because we try to get sponsors, but these, I don't know if you've heard of our economy the last couple of years, but it's not well. So people don't
Yeah,
want
I
to do
just I
stuff.
just did my festival with zero sponsors for the first
Yeah,
time ever.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
brutal.
it's
Yeah, it was
brutal.
scary.
So, and I was already in on guarantees, with just flat rates for all these comedians plus everything
Hmm.
else. I don't know why my camera's going out of focus. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was kind of brutal at first, and then it turned around with the headliner dropping and having Timmy on there, and then everything just came together. So this year, same thing. This year I did a little different. Instead of giving flat fees to the comedians, I'm treating it as a normal show to the
Okay.
headliner. So it's a guarantee versus percentage, after expenses. And so that way, it takes away my back end from making more, but I'm not at the risk because,
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
totally.
I've had the most sellouts I've had so far this year, but I've also like lost a lot of money. I had 2 nights, with these guys, and they were great. I'm not gonna name them, the great comedians from LA, these, a couple comedians, and it's like it doesn't make sense. Sales are just so bad, and it's everywhere. So it's,
Yeah,
I
sure.
talked to someone at Levity Live, and he's like, "Yeah, we're struggling across the board." So,
Yeah, it's rough.
um,
I had some tough shows this weekend that I was
yeah,
selling tickets to. Big
yeah,
Allman
it's
Brothers concert at the same time, a couple blocks away,
um,
sucked up all the entertainment
yeah.
dollars, it seemed like.
Well, and I'm not competing against anything here. There's no other comedy shows. There's nothing else that really competes. My crowd's curated because like it's a it's a venue I rent out that I don't get cut of drinks or food. I
Okay.
essentially rent the room. I handle all my tickets. They don't touch my tickets. I don't touch their stuff.
Yep.
So the people, I'm not papering the room. It gives me no financial incentive to paper a room. I'm not getting those sales. So I'd rather just
Right.
have the people who want to come. So it's just I don't know. It's a weird beast.
So
Like,
back up a little bit and tell me, like I've heard for years about, Sam Tallent's a big fan of
yeah.
Lafayette comedy, and he was in the Denver scene a while ago. That's probably where I first heard about you guys, and I'm
Yeah.
not even sure I could have found Lafayette on a map.
I'm actually going to see Sam. I just texted him earlier today. I'm gonna go see him this weekend in Austin. He's headlining the Mothership, and so I'm gonna
Awesome.
go up Sunday through Tuesday to do some shows. And I was like, "Hey, you got one of those guest lists, please?"
Yeah.
Um,
Nice. Nice. So how long ago did you get started? You got quite a thing built by now. How did
yeah.
you build it up?
So I started comedy in 2014, I think, and that's when Lafayette comedy started. I saw right away that in order to grow the scene, to get more, not only just people coming to the open mics and the book, the showcases, whatever, I knew I needed to step it up and also get more people interested in trying comedy. So formed Lafayette Comedy, and then February 2015, we had our first show, a little guy named Tom Segura, and we Completely Normal was already out, but it didn't pop yet on Netflix. And
Okay.
so we had a room that we're like, all right, we need 77 tickets to break even, and we sold 100, and we're like, all right, we got to add more, so we added another 25. Then me and the owner was like, he's like, I'm taking everything out of here except the walls and the bar. We got, pool tables, everything. And so we did like 175 over there, and we completely sold
Wow.
out. We probably could have done 2 shows, and that's what started it. And then that really started Lafayette Comedy,
So
because things that
you might not remember this, but how is it that you got Tom? Was he like driving through, or is he
so
somebody's buddy? What?
he was doing a gig in Mississippi. So I just looked up. I knew right away. I was like, okay, I have a background in music, so I know routing, and like, okay,
Sure.
let's see what makes sense and where can you fly out of. Essentially, is the best. And he was doing a show in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is at least 4.5 hours away. And,
Okay.
I would say 3.5, 4.5. And so I was just looking like, who could we get? And I was a big fan of his Thrilled and White Girls with Cornrows were his first 2 albums. And I just like looked up. I was like, okay, he's with Gersh. So I sent an email to Gersh, Marianne Ways, who went on to she worked with Wyatt Cenac, and she produces and books all these comedy festivals. She's a wonderful person. I hit her up. I say, hey, look, I'm new to the comedy. I would love to do this. This is my room. This is how many seats I can have right now. Bam, bam, bam. And I shot everything. She's like, okay. And we kind of looked back and forth, maybe 1 or 2 emails, and that was it. And then that was the birth of Lafayette Comedy. And then then after that, it couldn't stop. I had so many people hit me up. Sean Patton's one of my favorites. The first time I had him was that
Sure.
year. We had I think my first show was Sakura. After that, we had Ben Kronberg,
Oh, I was
who
just hanging
I
out with Ben
love.
this weekend. What a good
Man, I
dude.
haven't seen him in forever, man.
Yeah.
Him, and then Michael Lawrence, and I was a huge fan of Michael Lawrence, and then we had another little guy you may have heard of, Nate Bergazzi. We had him in
That's so funny.
September of 2015, and we had maybe 45 people. But he was a comic then. He wasn't
Sure.
known in this area, and it was really cool, and just kind of exploded. And so that was mainly doing shows at this one venue. And then when that closed, I was already kind of doing shows at other little places. And then where I am now, it's a nightclub, but it's inside of a DoubleTree hotel. And I always have to tell agents when first time I work with them, it's not a ballroom, it's a
Okay.
nightclub. They used to have
Yeah.
Latin night and all kind of stuff. Now, since after COVID, it's just me or private events over there.
Okay.
but it is a kill box. Todd Barry loves it.
Yeah.
Bobby Kelly loves it. Mark Norman says it's the best room in the South. We just had Sam like a month ago, and he's like, "This is the best show in Louisiana." I was like, "That's it, thank you."
Nice.
So yeah, it's a very unique little
Now,
place,
let
but
me ask you a
it's
question
made for
about
comedy.
this
Yeah.
nightclub. I'm really into like venues and rooms, and so when you went to get this room, did they already do music there? Did they have lighting, stage, sound, etc.? Have you
Yeah,
augmented
they had
that
stuff
in any
all.
way?
Yeah, so they had stuff already, and if you would see like the first picture to what it is now is night and day. They already had built-in sound. They have like this big crazy truss on the ceiling, big like almost like oval, and they have all the lights and speakers, and they have a stage. And so I would bring all my gear, like microphone, cables, everything. They have a board and everything. So I had the lights, and like when it started, they have a wallpaper in the room that goes around the whole room, and it's like almost reflective. And we just had like at the time, they just got a spotlight or stage lights. They weren't even shooting on the stage, and it was crazy. Like it was just. I look at pictures, it's so bad. I remember we had Stanhope one time, and it was the first time I used, and they had a couch. For some reason, there's a couch on the stage with tables and a lamp. And he goes, "Leave it." And I was like, "You sure?" He goes, "Oh, we're gonna make something good out of this." And I had my
Yeah.
up lights, and when I started using my own up lights, that really changed the room. So I started doing that, and then I was like, I asked them for like a banner. So they had a big, black, curtain cloth type thing, kind of broke up the side. And then a couple years ago, I went to probably like 3.5 years ago, I went to New York, and I was, Comedy Cellar, all these places. And I was just like
Sure.
taking
What's your
pictures, and I
favorite
sent,
Comedy Cellar room?
oh, the OG,
The
MacDougal
McDougal?
Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it's a little claustrophobic at times, but I used to
Sure.
be like 80 pounds heavier. Now I don't mind it. But when I was fatter, I was like, oh my God, I hated it. But I shot him pictures of all these clubs, and I was like, look, if there's any way we could do something with that back wall, I was like, I said, look, anything I could do, I'll help pay. I was like, if we do fake wood at the bottom, fake bricks. He never replied to me. Okay. And so we,
So you just carried in a pallet of bricks?
well, no, I was just kind of waiting, like, and so we had a sponsor who came on, and he's like, "Look, I want to get you this big banner, 8 by 10." So I was like, "Okay, your logo, his logo, perfect." And so we had Dusty Slay and Eddie Pepitone one weekend.
Wow.
Next weekend, I come in, and when I walk in the club, I was like, I had asked about the wall, and I was like, also the tiles, the ceiling tiles above the stage, can we make those black instead of white? Because I mean, it would just reflect my light.
Sure.
And I walked in the club, and he never told me anything. All the tiles are black, and then he had put up the fake brick wall panels. It was just almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then I immediately like called the sponsor, and I was like, tell me that banner is not being made. He goes, it's already being made. I was like, damn it. And so we had to like awkwardly position it to the side. Now the next year, he essentially made us two banners, 4 by 8, so 8 foot tall, 4 foot wide. And
Nice.
it kind of, because they didn't finish the bricks on one side, and the other
Okay.
side's weird with the door. It just, so now it's kind of like we try to make it a little uniform. But now that room, I've got like the audience is one light. I have four yellow lights on the stage, and I do yellow because it kind of breaks up the white spotlight. And
Yep.
it's a beautiful club. Like when the lights
That's
are off
cool.
and it's showtime, it is
What's the
amazing. So
seating like? Are people at tables? Is it
no, no
stadium?
tables. When we
Okay.
first started, they had tables, but then like we started growing so much that it was like, I was like, look, I don't want to try to keep up with like, okay, we got this many tables, because sometimes the tables wouldn't be there because they would have events. So I
Mm,
was just like, look, I want all tables out. We just do straight theater style chairs. We have a center part, and then we had two sides. And so we'll do like first three rows, left, right, and center is VIP. But like a full sellout is 250. We've squeezed three. I used to say three, but they just gets a little too packed. So I say 250 is our sellout. But
okay.
like this weekend we had two sold out shows, 250 each, and I had like 307 chairs in there. But it's like you want to have way more because someone skips a seat here, here, each row. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, you got 40 killed seats. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's amazing. And so we'll do two shows a night. We just had a show this weekend. It's really crazy the stuff we did. We had David Keckner on a Sunday for two shows, Harlan Williams for two shows on
Oh,
a
he's
Sunday
so
sell
funny.
out.
Holy
We're the
cow.
only people. We had Miss Pat in October. We did four shows. All four sold out. We're the only people that's had Gillis here for proper shows. So the week after his first special came out,
Yeah.
That's when we had him for a weekend. It was just crazy. It's and there's no comedy clubs, well, full-time comedy clubs in the state. There's one in Baton Rouge. That's a black room, and they do a lot of stuff, but it's not like it's not kind of like as a different talent they bring in. We'll cross books on people too, but it's a little
Sure.
different. But it's not like there's no cookie cutter comedy clubs that's open, this many days a week and having all the shows. So we kind of filled a little void, and it's weird because we'll outsell New Orleans. It's just a weird place, but it works.
So you found something, man, and you really dug
Yeah,
in and invested, and man, I'm sure you've built up like a heck of an email list, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure you got
yeah.
loyal customers. You have anybody who comes like, I don't know, 20 weekends a year or more? You have
Audience
customers like
members,
that?
yes. So this guy's my favorite. We've hit it off. He used to come with his wife, and for a while he was talking because he wanted to, like, he was talking like maybe invest in my own standalone club, which I get that every now and then. And then I noticed he stopped coming without his wife, and we talked a couple of weeks ago, probably like a month ago, and we just were bullshitting. And sorry, I mean curse if
It's
okay.
okay.
He's like, yeah, my wife has, I think she dementia or something like that, so
Oh,
she
wow.
stopped coming, and this is his escape. And then he let me know because it was a clean comedy show, and I advertised as a clean comedian, and he goes, I think that might have hurt you. And I was like, you think? I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, I think some people may be scared of it. And he goes, look, he goes, I'm a deacon. And I was like, wait a minute. You've come to the most foulest shows ever. You've heard me say, I was like, you're just going to tell me now you're a deacon? He goes, yeah. He goes, trust her, I would like comedy. He goes, I know what I'm getting into. I like it and everything. And he was like, but he goes, I wouldn't advertise clean anymore. And I was like, well, all right. And so, and he was there this weekend. He showed up, and because we were fully sold out both shows. And he goes, let me know if they
Mhm.
got any tickets. And I said, just wait right there. So I went, put him a wristband on. I was like, you're good to go. He's like, thank you. And then that's my rewards points. And then
Yeah.
after the first show, he goes, let me know if you have any extra spots for the second show. I'll buy a ticket. So I just give him another bracelet. I'm like, all right. And he watched the same show twice, and he drinks his wine, and he
Yeah.
just enjoys comedy. And so it's really cool because people like that. But yeah, we have a lot of regulars. Like, when I don't see him after a couple shows, I'm like, you okay? What's going on? So
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man. That's really cool. That is one of the fun things about running shows regularly is, like I have a kind of similar thing where there's a couple up in the Vale area that comes to almost every one of my shows.
mhm.
And then they like broke up at one point. So they started
Mm,
coming separately with like partners, and they were always asking me like, don't sit me next to so and so.
yeah,
And then they got back together and they came to the door once together. And I was like, get out of town. This is not
yeah.
happening right now. This is crazy.
We have there's a couple who come to a lot of our shows, and I ended up going to a concert in New Orleans, and he had posted about, like, oh, I got tickets to this band I want to see. And so he's like, do you have the email, I mean, the passcode to get tickets early? So I sent it to him. And so we hung out, and then the next it was the week before, I see his wife, and I was like, hey, what's going on? I said, are you coming to the show Monday? She goes, um, we're getting a divorce. And I was like, when did this happen? She's like last week or so. I'm like, so I won't see you Monday. And I was like, is he coming tonight? She goes, nope. We talked, and he's like, I come to this show, and he's coming to the next one. So it's like,
That's
but
hilarious, man. That's
uh,
great. There should be a sitcom about comedy showrunners who've been doing it for long enough.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. When you go to New York City, you go to Austin, et cetera, are you scouting talent? Are you just like seeing what the clubs are doing? What are you doing?
Mainly, I'm going for me doing shows, because like a lot of the people I know already. So like when I go to Austin, so I'm going there this weekend. A lot of the people, like the shows I'll be doing, like I already know these people. I already do shows with them. The people when I go to New York, I'll see people and they're like, oh, that's great. But I'm a little different because I only get a certain amount of dates per year for this club, because this is the main convention hotel in the whole in the city.
Yeah,
So even though someone's not using the club, it may not be available because there's always like a little league convention,
sure.
a teachers convention, an old person's convention, or like a state troopers convention. So we're all like in the parking lot. So even though they don't use a club, it may be parking issues. And
Sure.
so I'm very selective. I just don't want to put also. it's a big room, and for me to adjust it to like put 50 people in there, like which you don't want, but you want to make it. I want to use my dates wisely, so I'll try to every now and then I'll probably do a show where it's like, oh, okay, you're not maybe someone who like could headline, but they're not doing weekends or whatever. So they try to do that. But most of the time, I'm like, look, I'm trying to shoot for the cream of the crop because that's what drives. Then I have showcases other places. I run a free show at two restaurants, which we get a little flat rate and tips and everything, and that's fun. I'll put you on that, give you more money. I run a show at a strip club, which is crazy, and comedians like, yes, I'll do that. I run a show at a brewery here, a brewery in Baton Rouge, and one of them, I mean, the one in Baton Rouge, I can do like it's 125 seater, and so we've had Sam Talent, we've had Liz J. Gomez, Sklar Brothers, a few other people, so I can do comedians there too. So it just depends on who it is, but I'll see people in Austin, everything, but usually most of the people, if they're headline level, I know them already because I'm just a comedy
Right.
nerd, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And you've been doing this for so long. Do you find that
Yeah.
those other smaller shows help feed the business of the biggest room you have?
Yeah, I think so because a lot of times we get it's kind of the tail wags the dog and the dog wags the tail, I guess. We'll get people like, oh, I didn't know it was comedy. It was, and no one loves everyone loves a free show. So when it's a free show, people come out, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, by the way, this weekend we got so and so. And then you get people like, I didn't know there was comedy. I'm like, of course.
Mm, yeah.
And then the opposite, we'll get people who come out to our regular shows and like, cool, we're gonna go eat and watch this show over here, and so it kind of feeds it both ways.
Nice. Let's talk about online marketing a little bit, or just marketing in
Yeah.
general. When you're having trouble selling tickets, what's your go-to move?
I usually curse a lot, and then I try to back out contracts. No. I have a video series, and I'll shoot you a link. It's on the Lafayette Comedy YouTube
Yeah, that's
channel
actually
for
how I
anyone.
found you. It's great.
Oh, nice.
It's
Okay,
really
awesome.
good. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so that one, because like I would do all these promo things, and I would like Facebook, Instagram ads. They're kind of together, meta ads, I guess. And so
Sure.
really target people and going, okay, because some people just, I mean, there's a reason that if you live in California, I should be seeing your ad for your show in
Right.
California. And I'm like, you're just pissing money away.
Yeah.
So I get it down to like mileage and air. Like I really pinpoint it, and I kept showing people, and someone's like, "Man, can you tell me that again?" I was tired of telling people, and so that's what started that series. And I'll post it on Reddit and stuff like. People were like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" I even did it like how
So
to
why don't you
record your
just go over
sets.
some of the highlights? So obviously, like
Oh
like
yeah,
a specific audience geographically is super
yeah.
important.
So the
Um,
main thing is one, go on your radius. So I've heard from like Don't Tell Comedy. They'll do like a 4 mile radius, which is like, oh, I was like 4 miles. Like for us to go to the grocery store, we have to drive longer than that. But I'm like, oh, that worked in big cities because I've done
yeah,
Don't Tells in like Manhattan. So you can do a 1 mile radius and you'll
yeah,
get
sure.
yeah. So getting down for here is really knowing your area and going, where are you people coming from, and either pointing on the map and setting like, okay, this mile, radius or whatever. So getting it down to your the area, getting it down to your demographics. If it's an older comedian that's not going to be known to 18 to 22-year-olds, then adjust that age. If it's a
Yeah, yeah.
male. If it's a male-based comedian, a male-based fan base, you just target your males. Get down to your demographics where you can put in interest. Stand-up comedy, but like what show was this guy on? Then you do that. Well, if you like stand-up comedy, you're going to know the top comedians. You're going to know Jim Gaffigan. You know all these people. Put those people in. You just try to hit, and then like, all right, humor. If the comedian had a clip that went viral on divorce, put that. It's just there's so much stuff to go in there, but you really just got to pinpoint it down to the language. There's no reason you should be posted out to Spanish or Ethiopian if your area doesn't have that population. So just
Yeah.
little things like that. And that's what I really learned to target. And then is the difference between the awareness, the engagement, the traffic, all those little things like there. So
Do you use pixels?
I do. The ticketing company I have, they set up the pixel for me. I never look at them. They're running. I just never take the time to go look and everything. I need to. That's one thing I'm dumb on, and I need to do that. But they
You
set
and
it
me
up
both,
so I can
brother.
track it. But yeah, like I can see when you buy a ticket where you came from. If it's my mailing list, is it Facebook? Is it Google? Is it the artist website? It'll tell me that, but I really need to like dive into it. But it's just
Yeah.
I sit down and go, all right, I'm gonna learn pixels, and then whatever I
Yeah.
get distracted. So
Have you found over 10 plus years that email has lost some of its efficacy?
yeah, I mean, my mailing list is like over 9,000 right now.
Wow.
So
What do you use,
um,
MailChimp?
no, I use Brevo. It used to be called Send in Blue, but now it's Brevo, Brevo. I think
Okay.
now my tier is probably like $55 a month. There's a few
That's
other
so cheap.
ones.
I spend so much
Yeah,
more than that.
yeah. We'll talk after. There's another one called like it's like an octopus or it has an octopus in the name or whatever.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no Mailchimp. Yeah, I looked at that. And I was like, I'm not paying that price. I'm not blasting. So um, no, so I use Brevo, and then it shows you the click rates and everything like that. And some people, sometimes it goes to spam. For a while, I ticketed. So when you buy a ticket, it would go. So now we change an email address and everything like that. It works because I know that when there's a show, and I give my mailing list first dibs, especially if it's gonna be a hot show. I know it's gonna sell out. I'll do that, and then bam, those tickets come in, and I've
Yeah.
sold like 200 tickets before it even went on sale to the public. So it's like, okay, that's when it works. But yeah, I think I mean you have to have an email to sign up for anything these days. But how often do you check it? So I
Yeah,
don't know.
totally. We got a question from the internet from North Carolina. Please explain pixels not familiar. Yeah, I'll give you the
I
the
I can
Cliff
explain a
Notes.
pickle, but
So a pixel is kind of like a cookie that Meta has, like a thing that tracks the users. And so what you can do is you can like run a campaign with a specific pixel. Everyone has like a social security number, so they're unique. And you could like boost your event page on Facebook. And then Meta knows these 150 people that have shown some interest in that event page. And you can later run a campaign specifically targeting people who are interested in the event page or
Mhm.
people who went to your ticketing platform but didn't complete checkout. It's
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff, and you can get real granular. And then when you're getting closer to the show, it's kind of like I'm sure everybody's familiar with you Google like a barbecue spatula, and then for like 6 weeks, all you're
Yeah.
seeing are ads about barbecue spatulas. It's the same thing, same idea, basically.
Yeah, or if you talk by your phone and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I like lizards," and the next thing you know, your Instagram is lizards and your TikTok, it's yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Well, we only have a couple more minutes. This is an awesome conversation. Do you want to talk a little bit about your own comedy? Some you've been a comedian now
Uh,
almost 15 years. What's been great? What goals do you have
yeah, I
coming up?
mean, it's weird because I spent a lot of time focusing on, how can I say this? Like on the producing part. And
Yeah,
so, and my shows, the national shows, were essentially my open mic because I don't have time to go to open mics. I used to run one, I used to host it, and then now there's like one on a Monday, and there's a very small one. There's one on a Tuesday, but like if I have like 3 shows a week, it's like it's crazy. Plus, the kid has soccer practice and everything and all that good stuff. So for me, it's the last couple of years I kind of been like trying to step it up. I've done. I was on Skankfest this past year in November. Which was
nice.
great. I did
Yeah,
Bobby Kelly's podcast when I went to New York, and so now it's just like really kind of focusing on me, and it's cool because like I just did a 5-day run with Kyle Kinane, who's next to Attell. He's tied for
he's
first with
yeah. What a
and for
storyteller.
him to say like you want to do the run, it's like yes, absolutely. And so we did 8 shows in 5 days. I just got off the road with Emo Phillips. We did 4 shows. Bobby Kelly
Yeah.
2 shows. So now it's just kind of like okay, and for me it's saying no a lot and to like I don't need to run shows so much here, kind of make it worthwhile hopefully. But yeah, just working on my stuff too. I'll go to New York, I'll do the Stand, I've done New York Comedy Club, I've done the couple of Don't Tells in Manhattan and some other places, and like I'll go to Austin, do the Veil, Sunset Strip, Creek in the Cave, things like that. And it's just trying to, I got a show I'm bringing the Punchline in Houston and Irving, Texas next month. So it's like Now it's like, okay, and I don't have the need. I don't film content like, oh, me doing voiceovers or like, those side by side videos. I'm not that person. I barely
Yeah.
put out clips just because I'm always kind of weird. But for me, it's just like, all right, just want to do shows. I don't need to be
Yeah.
seen. So it's just really stepping up now and just trying to
Do,
do more for myself.
do you perform at your shows? Are you like the host of the show?
I host 99.9% of all the shows. And
Yeah.
that's where I do a lot of new material. And I love it
Sure.
too, because especially when there's comics in the audience, because we all know our stuff. And then when I'll go
Yeah.
into a bit, you can see each other, look at each other like, we don't know that joke. And then like everyone's like, oh, including me, like, well, let's see what it goes. Cause I've never said that out loud. This is the first
Right.
time I've said that. And then, so yeah, but I host those shows. And then, yeah, I go out of town, and do other shows if I can.
That's great, man. All right, we got to land this plane. Why don't you pitch the festival, Lafayette Comedy, and your whatever stuff you got as well?
Yeah, yeah. So LafayetteComedy.com, at Lafayette Comedy on everything, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. The festival, second annual comedy festival, August 6th, 7th, and 8th and 9th. We're gonna have those shows, Todd Barry, Kim Congdon, Sam J. We have like Best of the Fest, plus we have our big Stone versus Drunk versus Sober show. We got a brunch show where we serve free cereal. And then we got a second brunch show we just added as a brunch and burlesque show. So that's good. So it'd be 4 days, reasonably priced compared to a lot of festivals. So yeah, so that's coming up. And then I run shows here in Lafayette, Baton Rouge, but also down to Houston. I'll bring shows, Dallas area. And then for my personal comedy stuff, I'm at the JP Leonard, or thejpleonard.com. And, I just, when I'm not here, I'm somewhere else. That's pretty
Okay,
much it.
man.
Yeah.
Great conversation. Stick around. I want to chat with you a little bit.
Okay.
Thanks
Yeah.
everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next Monday. See you then.